This is Antoine coming from outer space. Hopefully, Roman's in Earth right now. I'm literally out of space right now. So if you're hearing this right now, then that's awesome.
Barely on Earth.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? I was actually watching that movie called The Martian with Matt Damon, and it's about like how he got stuck in Mars. So it's a pretty good movie. You should watch it, buddy.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I think it was made in 2016.
Yeah.
I started reading the book, and then I'm not that far in it. I'm like 40 or 50 pages in. But when we came back to Chicago this past weekend, like we were just chilling with Sam's parents, and we're like, oh, let's watch a movie. And then I was like, oh, let's watch The Martian. Usually I try to like watch the movie after I read the book, but it's like one of those things. It's like, hey, it was like $1 to rent the movie, and I was like, let's just watch it. So I got a little idea what happened in the book, but I'm still gonna read the book and finish it because I still think like books are better than movies. So on a sidetrack of Gainz, I have been reading. I have been reading a book a month, so I've already finished, I think, 5 books already by now.
Dang.
Yeah. So instead of Fitness Gains this year, I set the goal for myself to try to read a book a month. So just get back from 2 weekends of traveling. I haven't really read in the past 2 weeks, so I'll probably start reading again starting tomorrow and this weekend. Sit by the pool and read for like an hour or two Saturday and Sunday. So, do you have any goals like that, Roman, besides lifting or what?
That was my exact same goal. I think
Is to read a book a month?
I think I've read like 2 books so far. And it's May. Gainz Nation. I'm woefully behind. The Steve Jobs book, I'll give my credit, was like over 500 pages. So I did finish that. I can't remember what the other book was, but I was pretty sure I read another book before that. I think it was a small one.
Speaking of books, Alan Aragon, his book is going to be released soon. I don't know the name of it.
Is it nutrition or is it training focused?
I don't know. So he posted a picture of like a scale of like body fat percentages. So it could go both ways because it's not really a good tell of like nutrition or lifting. So but it's he's being like Alan Aragon and making jokes like you're 2 to 5% body fat. You're pretty much visible 6-pack. You can see all your muscles. You're pretty much near death.
And him and like Dr. Arnold Nadolsky or whatever, they're like meme kings.
Well, I think they deserve the respect too.
Yeah.
And I think just by over time of their knowledge and stuff, like I think they have to do stuff like that to like get off the fact that a lot of people take so much advice from so many different people that doesn't make sense at all. Like what was the guy's name? I think you showed me him. He's like a bald guy. It's like starts with the M, nutrition. It's not Mendelin, is it? He's like a bald guy. It's not Mendelsohn, right? That's a different guy, right? I'm thinking of
Scott Mendelsohn, the power lifter. He like benches like over 1,000 with a bench shirt.
But like he posted like a story today saying like does eating time affect your like weight loss or weight gain journey, and it is like saying like 4 different things, like if you fast for 24 hours like your fat storage will be minimal, and then like if you fast for 12 hours you will be on a journey of 5 pounds of fat loss. And it's just like, God, how do these people even fall for stuff like that? So I did really want to mention though first, speaking of, well, we'll talk about it too. Roman and I, go ahead.
People don't know, so that's how people fall for that, man. Like, I saw such a disturbing statistic recently. It was like this like group of like people between this age range, 19 to 44, spend like $69,000 or something like that within that time frame on like nutrition related like just advice, like buying books and seminars and like training program,
coaches, yeah,
like not like, food or whatever. At least that I think that's like from what I recall. But it was like a ridiculous amount. It was like tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Whereas it's like, I don't know, you and I maybe have spent like $1,000 on books and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, as I say, I couldn't even tell you how much, like, I mean, with the nutrition and like training side of things, I'd have to say under 500. I wouldn't even say 1,000.
Yeah.
I'd say, but it's also too, it's like, I ran into, I went to the gym when I was back in Chicago, and it was the early morning because we had to go to a baptism. So I got to the gym at like 8 or 9 a.m. on a Sunday. So those are like the best times to train, especially on a Sunday because no one's there and everyone takes weekends off. I don't know why people like to take weekends off. I only take like Saturdays off, so I can never really attest to like that. Don't know why. It's like people like to take off their workout, like training, and they take off their nutrition and just goes downhill. But besides the fact, I got approached by another older gentleman. He was 61 years old. And this is off track because it just popped in my head. I wanted to bring up some other things, but since we were talking about this, he saw me do reverse sled pulls to warm up before I did farmer carries on the turf. And Sundays I do farmer carries. And he came up to me and was like, he goes, "Wow, man, this is awesome that you're doing this. Like, you're such a young guy." And he goes, do you watch the knees over toes guy? And like so after after talking to him for like 20 minutes, like I figure out like he's 61 years old, but he has like serious like knee pain, and I don't know if he got a replacement, but it was either, I'm pretty sure it's pretty serious like knee pain. I didn't really get what he did for a living for like, I'm pretty sure he's retired at this age. He seemed like pretty well off. But he was rocking barefoot shoes. He was telling me how he does the Ask to the ATG program. He told me like, man, like he's like, you seem so knowledgeable for someone that's only 28 years old. And I'm like, and I think it's back to the main point we were just talking about just a second ago. It's like, because we've been lifting since we were like in high school, you get to you still are understanding and learning every year. And like I was telling him, I'm like, dude, I wasn't doing this stuff like 4 years ago. Like, you'd see me go to the gym and I'd lift and walk back home, and there was no warm up, no cool down at all. So it's like, year by year, I feel like there's always something newer and something better for like, especially like lifting and longevity of lifting. But it was nice, man. I feel like I keep getting approached by like older folks that like praise that I'm doing this because I don't end up like them. It's like a reoccurring thing. It's like so weird. This is the second time in like 3 weeks that this happened to me, Roman.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it's good for us, right? But yeah, it's so interesting because like in many ways we're very lucky because we stumbled upon these like resources that like cared about teaching methods, like people like Morton, like Greg Knuckles, that like, if we like, I don't know, if we fell for like, the next YouTube like fitness influencer, then, we would think that like we had to go on like a celery like purge diet like once a month for a week or something like that, which would like kill our gains. And like what's sad is that like people don't know about like kind of like the fundamentals. Like people don't know what like a macro is, and like I don't know if people like know like in general, making generalizations, like how to like put together like a healthful like diet, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, we have sought out information, but I do think we're lucky too in that we found like resources that were able to teach us methods and principles that we're able to apply to our own like training, our own like nutrition, like how to make our lives like better.
Yeah, and it's really nice. And like we say before, like there's just so much more out there that I feel like Roman and I are gonna learn when we're older, and then get older within training and like the Gainz Nation overall. Because like I swear, if I get approached one more time, like literally, I'm gonna start just my ATG program once we move back to the Midwest. I'm just gonna start a Midwest one. I'm gonna see if Ben Patrick wants to split like 50% ownership and just like work the Midwest side, and he works like the Southeast because he's in Florida, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, I'm glad I brought that up because I got approached again after like the third weekend that I was doing farmer carries, and then Roman and I got to hang out. I don't know if you guys follow like our personal profiles on Instagram. I think I have Roman's linked up, and then also I think I tagged my personal profile. I don't think mine's private anyways, but Roman and I got to hang out. We didn't work out, unfortunately, but we did do a lot of lifting. We did do some lifting. If you're not watching the video, then hop on YouTube, and if you want to see the joke, then just hop on YouTube to see it. Skip to about 10 minutes in the video. So, but no, it was really nice to see Roman and some friends that we haven't seen in a while and hung out with. Got to see a Sox game that they blew, but it's okay. You didn't stay till the end of the game, right?
No.
Dude, remember, I think it was 5-1 or 4-1 when you left. So it was 5-1, and they had bases loaded at the bottom of the ninth.
Dang.
And if he would have hit a home run, it would have went to extra innings.
Yeah.
He struck out though.
Yeah.
But besides that fact, we got a lot of topics we're talking about today. I actually, it's crazy. It's like we always like do these, and it's like stuff pops up in my head. One more thing, real quick, before we get into other stuff is why in the hell is protein and creatine so expensive these days? Like, so I don't buy creatine often because when I do, I buy like something that's like 400 or 500 servings because typically, I think we said this on the podcast before, 5 grams per day, creatine, micronized creatine. You could take it. I think Roman doesn't. I honestly just take it in the morning with breakfast. Some people say take it before the gym. It's the easiest, best supplement, and probably the cheapest supplement. I guess not anymore, but that could work if you are a person that gets affected by its results. But that's 5 grams, like for a 150-pound person. So it could. People always say it could wager more or less, but me, I'm an easygoing guy, just 5 grams a day. But so back to the matter of fact is, so I had to buy creatine for the first time in like a year and a half because, like I said, I buy them for where it's 5 grams a serving, and it's like 400 to 500 servings. And I hop online, and I think I bought like the same size for like $20 or $30 like a year and a half ago. It jumped to like $50. Like we're almost talking like almost doubled. Yeah. So I tried looking on Amazon, and there's a company, I think it's called Now Nutrition, like Now, like exclamation mark. A buddy of mine that I've known for like ever, he actually works for this company that does like quality control. So I kind of trust the company, and they're based off in Illinois. So I tried buying their creatine again, but like I said, it jumped from like 30 to 50, and I went with this NutriCost brand that I get on Amazon that I think I've gotten their stuff like all the time, like their caffeine, their beta-alanine, like when I was making my own pre-workouts back in the day, which I don't do really anymore because I don't really take pre-workout. But yeah, Roman, it's like crazy. Like protein too, especially, it's like, dude, you can't even get like a 5-pound tub for you can't get it less than like $60 these days. It's like crazy.
That is crazy.
And I know you don't take this stuff, but like it's nice to have protein powder because the fact is, like, if I don't want to like cook like a chicken breast or like a hamburger, like I just like put it on my blender and then just shake it up. So
yeah, I get it, but I mean, I'm still able to hit my macros I still have a smoothie like most of the time in Chicago. It's
with
usually
protein powder or no?
No protein powder.
Interesting.
For a while. It's usually a scoop or like 3/4 of a cup to a cup of Greek yogurt. It'll be like between 18 to like upwards of like 30 plus grams of protein, depending on like the brand I get. Like when I'm Falmouth, I'll just do like a cup of Oikos. They have like, I forget what they call it, but it's like Oikos super protein or something like that. It's 25 grams of protein per 3/4 cup.
Yeah, I heard they amino spike that Greek yogurt.
And it's only like 140 calories, I think. for
You know, it's,
protein.
you want to know what's funny? Muscle Farm is still around after that lawsuit of them spiking their protein for like years.
Yeah.
I looked on Amazon. They still sell Muscle Farm. They like rebranded it. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'll never buy again.
You know what isn't around anymore is God, what is his name? He had a heart attack recently too. Tony Huge's company, like Advanced Athlete, or what was it?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah. His company got shut down.
For SARMs?
Yeah, I think he was like kind of spiking products with, with like SARMs and like crazy shit, or maybe but yeah.
You know, it's funny. We haven't really talked about SARMs on the podcast in a while, but LOL. If you don't know what SARMs is, just look it up, and then look up Tony Huge. You'll get into a rabbit hole, but I don't feel like explaining SARMs right now.
Don't do them, folks. Yeah. So I'll do Greek yogurt, then I'll do like 8 to 12 ounces of milk, and if I get a particular milk from Fairlife, it's 13 grams of protein per 8 ounces, so per cup. So right there, I'm already at 31 grams of protein for like some extra fats. And because I'm like pretty active during the day, I'll throw in sun butter in there. But like if you're cutting, you might, maybe want to add like not sun butter.
Or peanut butter, almond butter, sun butter, whatever.
Yeah. Or peanut butter, almond butter. Macros aren't great for like protein to like calorie ratio. But like if you're bulking or like in a maintenance diet and you're like relatively active, like no biggie. So that gets it to 38 grams of protein. And then I'll throw in like a couple bananas, maybe some like chocolate chips, just to like spice it up. Once again, I'm like some days I might be like 20,000 plus steps. Not all the time, but like I will do that.
Shit.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll get me to like 40 to 45 grams of protein. And I don't use like any like supplements or anything like that, like no whey or anything along those lines.
Yeah, the only supplements I've been usually taking though is like the multivitamins, creatine.
Okay.
I just switched the liquid fish oil. I stopped taking fish oil pills, and I put the fish oil like jar, like it's like glass, into the refrigerator, and then I'll do like a teaspoon of that, like just down the hatch. Nice.
Did you watch the Huberman podcast with Dr. Rhonda Patrick? It's pretty good.
Is that do they talk about that or?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. You know what? It just, I know Samantha and I don't eat like the amounts of fish that's like needed in the week. Like sometimes we'll have our kicks, like we'll have like tuna, salmon, shrimp, right? And then some days it'll be just salmon, and then maybe some days it'll be like just trout one day. Like I don't consume I just know I'm more of like chicken, pork, and beef. Like it just hands down. That's pretty much like my layout with proteins.
That's fair. I usually have one or two servings of fish a week. I do want to increase that, but not by too much. Yeah. Because I am concerned about mercury and like lead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think if you eat like a pound of fish or under a week, you're usually pretty safe. Obviously, consult a doctor, blood test, blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I'm actually, that's something I'm looking forward to. If I do come back to Massachusetts in July.
The fresh fish.
Fresh fish, yeah.
Yeah, you guys probably have so much like nice fish there compared to like the Midwest. Like it's probably so much better.
It's so nice. Sometimes like you can literally like go like off a dock and like you can catch a fisherman and be like, oh, what'd you catch, blah blah blah, and they'll be like, oh, I got some swordfish, like I filleted it up, like do you want some? It's like they'll sell them to you right there. It's like, oh shit, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Swordfish is good. Swordfish is good.
Amazing. I love swordfish. But yeah, that was a good podcast. I know we're jumping around a bit, but
I'll have to watch it. He was just on Jocko as well. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, no, Jocko's podcast.
I don't know. I've
never listened to any of them, so.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll like watch some of his short videos when he'll do like his like he like role plays if Jocko was president or whatnot. I'll watch those every once in a while, but just kind of like purely like entertainment, like just BSing.
Yeah. So another thing, I know we're jumping. We the whole idea was like get to the updates for both of us, but it's so funny on how this plays out. But so when I flew back from Chicago, right, one of my buddy's friends So one of my good friends, like buddy that lives in Arizona, like he lives like down the street from us. And I hung out with him for the first time, met him through my friend. And so like we have each other on Snapchat. We don't really text or snap each other a lot. You know, it's like one of those times you hung out with someone once and then you add each other on social media. But so I fly back from Chicago to Phoenix, and he sent me a snap, like, and sometimes we'll send each other random snaps, and like I said, we don't really like talk. And then he sent me a picture of two pineapples like on their leaves, right, upside down, and I was like, dude, dude, no way. I know exactly where you got that from. And I'm like, was that from Paul Saradino? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. But I shit you not, Roman. So we keep talking. This is like the third day in a row, right? So I think we just stopped talking yesterday. I flew back like 3 days ago. I shit you not, like I said, I think almost a year, maybe like 6 to 8 months. He's been doing like almost full-blown carnivore.
Oh, your buddy?
Well, my buddy's buddy, which I guess you could consider him my buddy.
That's crazy. How's that going for him?
Yeah, so he says he stopped using caffeine. He pretty much eliminated like seed oils and sugar. Obviously he's a young man like us. He's like in his late 20s, and he said obviously like, and he's engaged, and he's about to get married, and like obviously like he's gonna have times where people want to drink some beer and like maybe get some pizza. Like he's not like Paul Saradino. He's not like such a like in your face kind of guy about it. But he's telling me he pretty much does like everything. He doesn't do like the raw like testicles and like organs like he does, like Paul does, like the heart, sometimes the raw liver. So he supplements those with like the heart and soil supplements that Paul like is linked up to. Kind of like what Liver King's linked up to, but I think his is called like ancestral supplements. So kind of this pretty much the same thing, just different brand. But he says the only thing he really does different is he'll still eat like white rice throughout the day. And I think Paul sometimes eats rice, but like I don't think he really like states it that I think his carb source is mostly honey and fruit, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he said he said he hasn't had caffeine in like the time frame. He said his sleep has been great, his recovery's been great. He's a casual lifter. He's probably your height, Roman. I think he's like around your height, and then he probably weighs around the same as you. He's in pretty good shape. He's not a serious lifter. He's just probably a casual lifter, like I said. But I think overall he was trying to do it for like overall health / like trying to change things up and to see how it works. But I was very interested. He was telling me about everything he does. Like, he gets this Carnivore from like Sprouts, and like, he like pretty much all he's been doing is like eating papayas, pineapples, honey, Carnivore. I don't know about the goat's milk. I don't know if he said that, but he'll eat like, he says he hasn't really gotten the like cooking liver or eating it raw, but yeah. And he said he got his blood work done. He said he got like a smaller panel. I think obviously he doesn't really know too much about that stuff, because I feel like normal people don't really care about the blood test. But I was like curious to see like what panel he did and like if he did like his hormone levels. But he pretty much said, I think he did like a small panel, like maybe like iron, like small vitamin levels and whatnot. He said all of them were normal. He said the only thing that was a little bit high was the cholesterol. And I think Paul Saradino kind of like covers that when you go carnivore. And I didn't ask him about like libido and stuff, but I think he said like that stuff is like still good. I know obviously this is some of the stuff that you don't want to talk about, but like as adults and like mammals. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah, that's right. We might have to have him on the podcast. We might have to just interview him and talk to him about it.
Yeah. It sounds much more along the lines of like paleo than like carnivore, maybe like fish. But like once you start to integrate fruit and whatnot, like my understanding of like a true carnivore diet is it has to be keto. Like it has.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it's pretty much like, well, is Paul's even considered keto then?
I don't think so. Probably not anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say with all the honey and like fruit he eats, I don't think that's considered.
Yeah. but it is fascinating that like so many people are experimenting with that diet or that diet-ish, that like carnivore light maybe is what it could be like referred to. But yeah, it's super fascinating to see like as the pendulum swings, because I was definitely in the boat at first where I was saying like, oh man, like I do feel bad about like my meat consumption because like, you know, farm animals, all this stuff. But then I thought about the ethics of plants, and then I'm like, oh well, that's out the window. Like it doesn't effing matter. But like,
Paul was a vegan too, right? Wasn't he before he did this?
yeah, Paul Saladino, he was. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's why he like totally did like a 180.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring it up because obviously we talk about gains here and fitness, but like I honestly all it was he sent me pictures of like pineapples flipped upside down, and I was like, dude, I know exactly where you got that from. Like, tell me more. Like that's pretty much how it went.
What freaking podcast was he on though? That was Paul Saladino and
Joe Rogan or?
No, it wasn't Joe Rogan. I don't think so. I forget if it was like Lex Friedman or I don't remember. Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, it was good. I remember really liking it. Yeah.
I mean, so if you follow Lane Norton kind of debunks it all the time.
Yeah.
He pretty much hates on Paul all the time. So.
There's a lot of stuff. So Paul like put out a video recently, and then like another like Instagram like fitfluencer kind of like jumped on the same like bandwagon, and like effectively what they said was like, don't wear sunblock. I'm like, no, that's horrible advice. Like absolutely 100% wear sunblock.
I think I sent that to you. I sent it to you. I'm like, what do you think about the sunblock thing? And then you're like, well, it's kind of like give or take, and like you kind of have to like be cautious. Like, yes, it's good, but like to be out there for 8 hours on direct sunlight, like, is that good? And then also, I comment on one of Paul's videos. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if it's because he's in the sun all the time, but if you notice, like his eyelids are pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
Like they look they're like darkish and they're like kind of weird. And I comment about it. Obviously, he's probably not going to answer me because I'm being a dick. But like, I'm truly curious on why his eyelids look like that. And I don't know if it's because he's just in the sun 24/7 without sunglasses. Because like me, I personally don't wear sunglasses a lot. Like I think it's better for us to be able to see without sunglasses. I don't know if it's true, but like I don't want to rely on sunglasses. Like because sunglasses are not forever. They're not a part of human nature. Like when Jesus was walking the earth, he goes, hold up, God, let me get my Gucci glasses on. You know, it's like, I don't need like glasses. So like, even when I run, I just wear a hat. Like I don't even wear sunglasses when I run. So, but yeah, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah. No, I didn't notice that. It was Derek with more plates, more dates, 100%.
Oh, about the sunblock?
No.
Or the podcast.
Yeah, Paul was on his podcast.
Oh, he was. I'm gonna check that one out. That's probably really good then.
Yeah, 100%. That's who it was. I don't know. I can that. But yeah. So it's like, remember, like, here's the thing. This is why like so many people get like in this trap, because there's like partial truths. Like, from what I understand, I'm not an expert in this field by any means, but like there's some concerns around like oxybenzones, for example. A lot of sunblock that you find, it'll say like without oxybenzones, without parabens, like blah blah blah, all this stuff. But there was this one like fitfluencer that was like, just put coconut oil on. It's just as good. It is not just good. Coconut oil has not been demonstrated to have UVA or UVB protection at all. Like that.
Wait, that reminds me of the Seinfeld episode. Do you remember when Kramer he started using butter as shaving cream because he got a closer cut, and then he started using butter to like lather up, and then he went on the top of the roof to go tanning, and he got left in the sun too long, and he came back smelling like pretty much a turkey, and Newman came in there and he was really hungry, and he thought Kramer was a turkey, and he almost ate him. So that reminds me of like the Seinfeld episode where it's like Kramer thought like it was a good idea to sit in the sun with like a bunch of butter on his body.
That's amazing.
Butter's a good sunblock, isn't it?
No, not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I mean, like in general, people people need to have exposure to the sun. There's some like very, 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 very extreme cases, like less than 1 in a million, where people have like some type of like hypersensitivity to like the ultra radiation from the sun, and they can actually get like pockmarks, like essentially have an allergic reaction, like just from stepping into the sunlight type situation. Extremely rare. Obviously, those people, they have to be like in the dermatologist like back pocket, like they have to like be constantly talking about them. They have to wear protective suits when they go outside, yada yada, all that stuff. For the majority, the vast majority of people, we should be getting like a decent amount of sun exposure on a regular basis every day, like even if it's just a couple of minutes of exposure, like even in the middle of the winter, like any exposure you can get to your skin from the outside is beneficial to a point. Once you get to like the above like 15-minute like mark, once again, this is kind of dependent on like skin tone, and this is dependent on where you are like on the planet. So I'm not an expert on this, like talk to a dermatologist, that kind of thing, but most people will be okay with 15 minutes of direct sun exposure per day. Anything greater than that, that's kind of my general rule of thumb, whether I put on sunblock. If it's going to be less than that to like a majority of my body, like I might not wear sunblock if I just go for a short walk outside type dealio. But if I'm going to take like a 2 or 3 hour bike ride in the middle of the summer in like Chicago or in Massachusetts, like you better believe I'm going to put on some sunblock, because the protective benefits of sunscreen to block out UVA, UVB radiation, or deflect it, diffract it, whatever you want to say, far outweighs like the potential downsides. Like, okay, can you get some absorption? That's exactly how sunscreen works. It absorbs like subdermally. It might stay within the layers of the skin, but you still have blood vessels and arteries which percolate up through multiple layers of skin, which could potentially circulate the ingredients of the sunscreen. There's no doubt about that. Absorption is a mechanism that we can get different like products like on our skin, like throughout our body. But like there's so many other products that people choose to use. So unfortunately, like it's a cost benefit type situation. I would talk to your doctor if you're like hyper concerned about this kind of thing. But I believe for most people, like you should be mindful about skin protection, especially like sun protection. It might just be like wearing a hat type dealio, wearing like long sleeves, like you might be willing to like take that chance. But once you get above that like 15-minute time frame, once again, like if you have darker skin tones, you might be able to go longer. It might be recommended that you go longer. If you have lighter skin tones, maybe even less than that. But yeah, it's so individualistic, so it's so hard to create general rule of thumb. But that's why it's important to like do some research on the products. People are so sensitive to products now too. Like people will get like irritations to it. So only apply it to a small area at first. Like I'll only apply like a new product to like my wrist, for example, just a small area of my wrist, to see if it causes like any type of reaction, because I do have sensitive skin. So it's tricky, but I'd say like wholesale, don't write off sunscreen because you've seen like a fitfluencer. And I guess in a way we kind of like fall within that same area. But hopefully I'm espousing at least some like the pros and cons to the product. I'm not trying to tell you like what to do one way or the other. You kind of decide your future, but hopefully, that's one of our goals, is to best equip you with knowledge, so you can take those tools and you can make your own best decisions.
Gainz Nation, that's it. You heard it first from the president of Gainz Nation, Roman Long, and then Antoine from Outer Space. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, please like it, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. If you have any questions or you want to see any other topics, just message us. We're always here. We're on all audio and video platforms, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.